obviously have to give Missouri credit. When we get ourselves in that situation, I think it's happened 3 or 4 out of the 5 years when we're either close or have the lead. And, you know, when we took the lead, went right down the field and scored. And I was trying to save enough time for us to have a chance to get back and score, but that's happened to us, and certainly wish it wouldn't. We tried different things on defense to try to preserve the lead when we went up, but give Brady Cook, Brady Cook and his group. He did a fantastic job on that last drive. I do want to tell you that Landon Jackson is back in the locker room and doing well. He's been released, so that was great news. And I'm disappointed we didn't beat Missouri. I'm disappointed for our kids. I'm disappointed for the fans. Not disappointed in the effort, but in the execution with the 2 turnovers. It led to 2 scores, and they had 0. And it's hard to beat a top 25 team that way. I felt like in the first half, the defense was playing so well that if we don't give them short fields, I'm not for sure what they're going to do offensively, and we did, and so those are things you can't do, but we did and gave them a little bit of life, and certainly they figured out unbalanced formation, how to run the football better. They started running the football better on us. We couldn't stop it, and then the quarterback draw obviously hurt us 2 or 3 times. The Q counter read hurt us as well, and of course the last one, the draw for them to go up 5, and then the reverse pass on the touchdown to get up 7 were daggers.
Sam, you're able to overcome the turnover margin against Louisiana Tech, and all due respect to them, they're not messy.
Yeah, they're not Missouri.
It's been hard, you look at the close losses to so many of them, A&M, OSU, Mizzou, even LSU was close until a turnover.
Yeah.
Just how frustrating has that been?
Very. I mean, it is. It's very frustrating. I mean, we work ball security, every week and put an emphasis on it, and that's part of our keys to our ways we can win. And we knew today with the weather how it was, if whoever turns the ball over less is going to win, and that's kind of exactly what happened.
How much credit do you give Missouri that they were able to take care
Well,
of
you do. I mean, you give them credit because they pulled the ball out, and so you certainly give those guys credit. They've got a good football team, and we didn't just give it to them. They took it from us.
When did you decide that you would work from the press box, and what was the operation like?
Operation, I thought, went really good. I thought about it starting as early as Monday or Tuesday because I knew I was coming off some of my medication that I couldn't take for the surgery. But the decision was just what's best for, what I felt like was best for the team. So the bottom line is Bobby had the timeouts when offense is up, and T. Will had them when he was on defense, and Scott had them when we was on special teams, and I just told him, and it seemed to work out fine.
Sam, y'all ended with 35 runs, 35 pass, even split. Is that what y'all were wanting to do coming into this game, or kind of how do you like that?
No, I think we felt like we could protect and we could throw it a little bit more than maybe a 50-50, maybe a 60-40. We thought that there were some open windows, crossing routes, shorter balls across the middle that we could complete, and but the running game went pretty well, and so certainly hindsight, you wish we would run a little bit more.
Sam, how difficult was that period where they had that 8-minute drive and then Jaquin fumbled on the first play and then it's 12 minutes?
Well, we were 14-10. I mean, it was very frustrating because we had just, we get the ball on the 50, we go right down and score. We take the lead 14-7. They got a long, lengthy drive. hold them to a field goal. We get the ball back. 2 plays or 1 play later, we give it back to them. And now an offense that had some momentum and going, a team that had some momentum, had to fight their way and scratch their way back. And I thought we did when we took the lead, and we did when we took the 21-20 lead, and then we couldn't stop them.
Early on, y'all had several costly penalties. Just what do you think went into the false start, jumping off sides, those penalties?
Well, it's things that can't happen, and a lot of times you say, well, the crowd's awful loud, and they do the move, and we were on clap cadence some, and we were on verbal cadence some, but it's something that can't happen, that did happen, that hurts you. They had one down there on 3rd and 1 on their own, and end up having to kick a field goal out of it. But as long as that's a rule in college football, we have to, and we practice it all the time, but we have to stay in there on that flinching.
I think you guys saved your timeout on the intentional grounding right before the 4th down completion.
Yeah.
Was there a convenient time to use it later, or because I think you finished with one?
No, there wasn't. I had it because I called timeout when Missouri had the football and was trying to use a 2-minute as well on that. I didn't want them to run a touchdown down the middle. I was hoping that they might miss a field goal, But no, really, as I look at that last drive, it just happened, and there really wasn't a time because it was a 1st down, and then, so there really wasn't a time until it got down, and I even told Bobby there at the end, say, look, there's 6 seconds left. I can use a timeout, if you want me to. He said, no, I got the play I want. So you hate to go home with one, but I really didn't feel like there was another time where I could use one.
Sam, obviously that was scary, or how scary was that seeing Landon? How relieving is it that he's okay? And how tough was it that you didn't have one of your best players for like 3/4 of the game?
Well, Landon's not only one of our better players, but he's a great kid and a great leader for us and a great family. So yes, it's scary, and especially when I'm not able to be on the sideline, seeing him. But I was getting information from T. Will but yeah, very, very, and obviously we'd love to have him out there for the other 3 quarters, but more importantly, he's healthy, and we're happy with that.
So they took him to the hospital, checked him out.
They did, and then they brought him back. I actually got a chance to see him when I came down from the press box. The ambulance was out there, him and his wife, and I was able to see those guys.
How tough was Andrew Armstrong? We went down hard a couple times, just kept coming back.
He kind of shown that all year, hadn't he? I mean, he's really shown maturity from a year ago, and he really shown his toughness. He was actually one of the guys this morning where we was talking about, hey, it's football weather. You don't usually get that from a wideout, but I thought he had a hell of a year, and certainly proud of him and his accomplishments that he had. But the thing that he showed is he's tough, just what he said.
Any updates on Dubinion or Keon Stewart?
Haven't. They just said R-Dub wasn't going to come back, and Stu, I've not heard.
Did the timing of the day with the weather change anything? How you guys prepared today, more so than a normal game day?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we stayed on schedule, and we knew we were going to get off the field a couple, 2 or 3 minutes early and from pregame, but not really. I think the weather surprised everybody, including the field crew and all. They end up getting it cleaned up and cleaned off, but no, really wasn't a whole lot of adjustment because weather usually doesn't do that.
It's tough of losses. It says you do have a bowl game to look forward to. You got your hopefully getting your hip fixed right to look forward to. Kind of what are your thoughts on those 2 things coming up?
Well, I wish we were 7-5 or better, going to the bowl game. I mean, I do, but I'm excited that we're going to get an invite somewhere and have another opportunity to have another winning season, winning bowl game. And then what'd you ask
How about
about?
you got your hip surgery Tuesday still?
Yeah.
I know probably hip surgery maybe isn't what people dream about, but hopefully it'll relieve your pain and make you feel better.
For anybody that's had it for 150 days or whatever I've had, I wish it on nobody. It's I've had a knee replaced, and you can't. It's painful, you know. And been coaching 38 years and never not been on the sideline for a game. But I feel like I would have been more of a detriment to the team down there than I would doing the same thing up top and having a clear mind, not worried about the pain.
And you're just hoping, looking forward to getting it done and
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting it done, and I believe most of my work, because it's dead next week, I believe most of my work I can get done in the office, and certainly we can't see the recruits anyway, so I'll be able to talk to them and FaceTime them and all that.
You mentioned the ball security earlier, but just I think the broadcast mentioned y'all lead the country in fumbles. Just why do you think that has been the case?
If I knew the answer, we'd try to fix it, but the bottom line is we have to be carrying the ball loose. I mean, that's the bottom line, because if you're not going to turn it. You're going to turn it over some. There's just hits and all that, but you're not going to turn it over and have that kind of stat if you're not loose with the football. And obviously that all falls on me, and we've got to do a much better job of that.
Would you be good with the staff coming back intact, or do you anticipate any?
Yeah, I mean, I got a good staff, so I think there'll be guys that have opportunities to do something. I think they enjoy it here at Arkansas, and yeah, I'd like to have them come back, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah, Mizzou went 7-0 at home for the first time.
Yeah, I saw
They've
that.
been 6-0, but the best they've been was 7 is 6-1. I guess how much do you respect that, and just how impressive is that, and how tough a place is it?
Well, they know how to win. They win all the close games. It seems like they have this year, and it seems like it goes down to that last drive, and he's really, really good at calling plays, and the kids are executing it. We knew that even whenever we went up by one. I was certainly nervous because they've executed that drive several times.
What do you think opened up their stretch and the other run plays in the second?
Well, I think it was a little bit of formation too. I think the formation they were unbalanced, and if we went too unbalanced, they hit us weak. They hit us on the weak side, and we were in cloud coverage a couple times which means that we're not going to have immediate support, and they got 10 or 12 off of the couple of runs on that too, so we had to get out of that.
Appreciate you, Coach.
All right.
Thanks,
Thanks, Jay.
Hey, man, good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good luck on the surgery.
Thank you.
I'm sure they'll take good care of you,
Who?
the doctors.